Good morning. Today is Tuesday. Today's a little different because I took the day off from work for some appointments, and so I've got the entire day free aside from my appointments throughout the day. And so I figured I would make today a bookish day, and I'm so excited because I want to go to the bookstore and do some book hunting. And there is a new release that I want to look for today, and as well as just some others that have started to pique my interest, and I wanted to see if I could get my hands on them. And so we are going to start our day. Well, we're starting our day with breakfast. I had a pumpkin donut, not donut, jeez. A pumpkin bagel this morning. There, of course, all of the pumpkins coming out, and so I found a pumpkin bagel, and it was fantastic. As well as I have my classic pumpkin coffee in my Halloween cup, no less. And I am getting so far into the fall vibes that it's like I want to go hunting for some books for fall time. And none of them are really fall related, but it's just that feeling of fall, reading, getting all nice and cozy. And I'm very excited for it. So currently I am still reading Dragonfall. It's taking me a good hot minute to read this. I am currently, but I've been actually, let's see, I'm at page 190, chapter 23. So I would say I'm just over halfway through, it looks like, which is good. I got actually a good chunk of it done yesterday. And so it's also been awesome because I'm actually at the tail end of a long weekend. So I was able to get a good chunk read this weekend. And so I'm hoping that I can get another good chunk out of it this afternoon. As I said, we're going to spend this morning book shopping. And then I think we're going to spend this afternoon reading. And so I'm currently reading Dragonfall with my eyes. And then with my ears, I am listening to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And so I found the audiobook through my local library, and so I'm currently listening to it, and it is absolutely fantastic. I think this is marked from last night. I think I'm actually now in the Sorting Hat. I'm in chapter 7. Let's see if I can find my page number. I'm on page 126, 127. So they just finished the sorting. And now, mind you, this is my 4th time reading the series. I absolutely love this series. And in all honesty, this is the first time I've ever listened to it. This is the first time I've ever listened to the audiobook. And I'm absolutely loving it. And so, luckily, I don't have to pay too much attention because, like I said, I've read the book 3 times now. And so, I feel like there's something about the way that they're doing it that it's actually I'm loving the audiobook. I'm absolutely loving it. And so, and of course it kind of worked out perfectly to end up on my TBR just because of the fact that there's something about fall and fantasy that goes so well together. And so this is a great start to the fall season for me. And I'm very excited. And because of the fact that I can find the audiobooks, there is a good chance that I may just binge the entire series, which honestly would be incredible. I may just do that. I may see if I can find, that is, if I can't, here's what I'll do. After I read Harry Potter, the first one, I'll see if any of my other TBR books I can find in audiobook style through my library. If not, then I may just binge Harry Potter on audiobook. That sounds like a good plan. So I'm excited to have today as kind of like a day to myself, a bookish day. And so the other thing is that I've also been going at this audiobook while I've been doing another task, because I'll have to show you guys. I'll show you guys in a second just because they're in the other room. But so I am having the great opportunity to go, me and some friends are going to the Taylor Swift concert down in Miami. And so she's coming to Miami mid-October. And so we're going to go down to the concert and we're going to tailgate, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And so we're all dressing up and picking eras. And so I have gone and picked the Fearless era. Fearless is kind of, I consider Fearless my era because I got introduced to Taylor back in when she was country, when she was full country. Because also that's what I listened to growing up. I listened to country a lot growing up. And that was kind of my genre of my childhood. And so I listened to like debut, Fearless, and I Realize Speak Now were very present in when I was that I know those albums pretty well. And so I'm choosing the Fearless era to go dress as, and so I've got this cute glitter shirt, but then I had also bought some white cowboy boots, and they're classic looking because they've got the etching on them, and I'm actually rhinestoning within the lacing of the boot and to glitter them up a little bit. And so I've been listening to Harry Potter while I've been working on my boots, and it's been so much fun. And so it's been a great opportunity for me to continue to listen to Harry Potter while working on my boots. Because like I still have a few weeks before the concert, but at the same time, I'm so excited and want to get it done. So I've been working on those. And I've either been working on those and listening to Harry Potter over the past, I ended up starting this like Saturday or Sunday. I think I started this on the 1st, so I think I started it Sunday. And then whenever I haven't been listening to this, working on my boots, I've been reading Dragonfall. And so we're going to get going. We're going to take my coffee. We're going to head off to Target and see if we can't start doing some book hunting. So like I said, I'm going to start at Target, and whatever, like I said, there are a few books that I'm looking for. If I can't find the book that I'm looking for, we'll then jump over to Barnes & Noble. And so we've got a little bit of time. It's currently about 8:30 in the morning. Target opened at 8. Barnes doesn't open until 10. So we're going to take this morning nice and easy. I'm in no rush. And I really want to use today to just be in my own space, be with myself, and use it as a good self-care day. And what better way to take care of ourselves than go buy more books? I don't know if that's how it works, but that's how it's going to work today. So let's get going. And I'm going to take y'all along with me. Let's go. Alrighty, guys. So these are my boots that I got for Taylor Swift. They're so stinking cute. And this is how they're finishing up. I got these little 2mm. Actually, I've got them over here. I've got these 2mm rhinestones in silver, and I've been going literally inside the stitching. And so this boot's completed. And then I finished this side yesterday. And so next I've got this side. So this is how it originally looked, aside from what I did yesterday. But this is how they originally came, with just the silver stitching. And so I'm now turning this into this, and I'm so super excited. I mean, how cute are those? And so I've got them packed with packing paper and some socks to support the boot while I gem them. And then, so I've been great. I've been listening. I started with listening to there's an Eras Tour track lineup on Spotify that I've been listening to. And then, like I said, over this past weekend, I started listening to Harry Potter. And so it's been really good activity to do with my hands. And it's reminding me a lot of the diamond painting. I've been dying to try diamond painting. And I actually found some Harry Potter diamond paintings at Michael's. And so I'm actually kind of considering it. But this is what it reminded me of. And I'm absolutely enjoying the hell out of this. And I'm so excited to complete them. Maybe we'll work on this afternoon and listen to some Harry Potter. And so I just wanted to show those off because I'm super stoked about it. And so I'm gonna have these. I'm gonna have a pretty silver top, and I'm gonna wear some light blue jeans. And I'm so excited. It's gonna look incredible. Okay, let's go shopping. found a little note while I was reading, and I'm finding this book to be very interesting because I'm finding that they talk a lot about gender and gender identity in this book. Both because the way that Arkady and Evren were brought up were very different. We have Evren, who is a dragon, but he is like the only male. Everybody else he's around is female. He's the only male, I believe, in a century. And so there's these expectations that are put on him that he doesn't necessarily want. And he had just made a comment about like not wanting to be a prince, not wanting to have the expectations because of the fact that his mother is queen. And there's just all these expectations on him in general, not only for being a prince, but also being a male. And so he's starting to feel overwhelmed by all of his expectations and everything that he's supposed to do and be in life. And then we have Arkady, who grew up a thief. And what's interesting is that, because as we've been reading, they use a lot of they, them pronouns until the person identifies as anything in particular. And so it's very interesting to see. And so we learned when Arkady and Evren started working together and officially sat down and introduced themselves to each other. Evren identified himself as he, and then Arkady introduced himself as what they consider any, which based off of my reading would be our non-binary. And so it's very interesting because they go by, like I said, he introduced himself as any, and so he kind of blends masculinity and femininity. Oh my gosh, masculinity and femininity. And you can tell by like the way that he dresses and the way that he looks, because even though I think Evren had made a comment about the way that he looks and dresses, like Evren considered him pretty, which I found cute. And then like I said, I came to the stopping point because they're having a conversation, happened to be between walls. They're in separate rooms, but there's like a wall in between them because they're sleeping for the night. And I like this little paragraph about how Arkady explains his anyness to Evren. And it reads here, "But me, I was never drawn purely to femininity or masculinity. Never felt like me. It's like being at a banquet. Why would I limit myself to one food when there are so many other options on the platters? I get to consume what pleases me and my tastes and no one else. I know what I like and what I don't. I don't know, gender is both so important and yet so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. The more you think about it, the stranger it all seems, trying to unpick what feels innate to you and what is put upon you by others. But I'm glad that here you can live at how you wish, more or less, at least in that respect." And so he really finds like a freedom in doing whatever he wants, looking, feeling, being however he wants, whether it's more masculine or feminine or somewhere in between. He's not limited by anything, and he finds freedom in that, and I love that. And so I kind of like that this has not only been this fantasy book, but also like this gender defying book. And I absolutely love that is a part of this, in all honesty, because you don't really see that in fantasy books, I find. Of course, most of the books that I read are like male-female relationships. I think this is actually the first book I've read that has but it's like where it's not a straight relationship, because of course when I initially had gone into this book, I'm like, oh, it's a male-male relationship, but in reality it's male and a non-binary. And I love that. I love the representation and the explanations here. It's like I said, I'm just over halfway through and we're getting this explanation from Arkady about how he feels about himself. And in all honesty, I love that. I love the representation. And so thank you, L.R. Lamb, for putting that in there for us. And so I do find that that's a great little place to stop because Barnes has just opened. I've been sitting here reading, waiting for Barnes to open, and so it's officially open. So we're gonna go continue our shopping trip, and then we will continue Dragonfall later. Alrighty, my friends, we have arrived back home with our pile of books. Now, I went into the stores with 4 in mind. I came home with 5, and 1 I am waiting for the call that it came in. And of course, the one book that I had actually gone out that started this whole thing is the one that I had to wait for. So I started at Target, and I picked up 2 from there. One of them was planned, one of them was not. Go figure. And so the first one I picked up was Icebreaker, which is the first book in the Maple Hills series. And so I decided, because Daydream, the 3rd book in the series, just came out, and I had honestly been wanting to give this series a go. And of course, why not just start off with the first one? And no, I did not go through all of them and get all 3. I just stuck with the one. It'll be one of those, I finish it, I give my review on it, and it will determine if I get the second one, because I know that this one, they're all standalone romances that are all in the same universe, so I already know that the couples will show back up in Daydream. And so, but I wanted to start it off since it's a figure skating and hockey romance, which I have come to love, because if you've been with me for a while, a number of weeks ago, I've lost track, I read Unsteady by Peyton Corrin, which is the exact same figure skater hockey, and I wanted to give them a go since I have a history of being a figure skater. And so I finally got my hands on Icebreaker. I've been having my eye on this for a while, so I'm happy to pick it up and dive into the Maple Hills universe. And so up next was the second one that I picked up. This one was unplanned, but I've had my eye on the book for a while. And that is Wayward by Amelia Hart. And this is fantasy. And so I'm very excited for this. We go through multiple generations, and we're, like I said, I think we've got 3 different timelines that we're working with. And so for Wayward, the synopsis reads, 2019, under the cover of darkness, Kate flees London for Wayward College, inheriting from a great aunt she barely remembers. With its tumbling ivy and overgrown garden, the cottage is worlds away from the abusive partner who tormented Kate. But she begins to suspect that her great aunt had a secret, one that lurks in the bones of the cottage, hidden ever since the witch hunt of the 17th century. 1619. Altha is awaiting trial for the murder of the local farmer who was stampeded to death by his herd. When Altha was a girl, her mother taught her their magic, one rooted in a deep knowledge of the natural world. But unusual women have always been deemed dangerous. And as the evidence for witchcraft is set out against Altha, she knows it will take all her powers to maintain her freedom. 1942. As World War II rages, Violet is trapped in her family's grand, crumbling estate. Straitjacketed by societal convention, she longs for the robust education her brother receives, and for her mother, long deceased, who was rumored to have gone mad before her death. The only traces of Violet has of her are a locket bearing the initial W and the word Wayward scratched in the baseboard of her bedroom. Weaving together the stories of 3 extraordinary women across 5 centuries, Wayward is an enthralling novel of female resilience and the transformative power of the natural world. And so it's kind of like, I said fantasy just because of the witches, but the fact that it is taking place in like our our world as well, knowing that they mentioned World War II, and of course the years and stuff. It goes by our timeline, and of course we have this witchiness that plays into it. And so I love how the tagline is, they call us witches, we call ourselves wayward. So I'm very interested to see how this turns out. So that looked really cute. And so then all of the other books I was looking for, I did not find at Target. So then I hopped over to Barnes and Noble. I picked up the other three, and then put on hold the other one that I was looking for. And so the first one I picked up, also because it's actually, I'll do this in the order that I found them, because I realized they were not stacked in that order. The first one I picked up was Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Now, you may ask me, Megan, why are you getting the start of a series? Twice. You said in the past that you were so nervous about getting series. I did. Something about this one, though. And honestly, I believe it was one of the YouTubers that I watch. I believe it was Alexa Ray. I don't know, because I know that she's talked about this in the past, and I thought she talked about it recently, which is what rewired it in my brain, which brought it back up. And so it's a young adult romance, but the way that it's set up, it looks very interesting. And so I figured I would pick it up and give it a go. And the other thing, it's floppy! Me and a good floppy book, man. I do enjoy the floppiness because I have found that I don't like cracked spines, but I found a hack to make it easy to read without bending the spine. And it's a whole thing where it's like you put it down on a table or a flat surface, and you like take a few, of course I'm doing this with a floppy book, you like put down the outsides. I'm just going to do it briefly. I'll do a short on it actually. And you like rub in the seam so that way it kind of flattens it, but it doesn't like break. It doesn't. What's it called? It doesn't break the spine. That's it. But it just makes it easier to read. And so then I did pick this up. Now, they've released a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of Binding 13, which I saw a copy of it today, but in all honesty, I think it doesn't actually release for a few days. So I was very surprised to see a copy of the Barnes & Noble edition in the store, but they must be releasing these one at a time because it's the only one out. The rest of the series isn't out in the special edition. But I figured I felt better off getting the original cover. And plus, it's pretty. I actually really like the cover. And so, like I said, it's a young adult romance, but at the same time, I feel like it's a college romance. And so this is where my small soapbox of young adult, because there's a whole debate of young adult versus new adult versus adult. What's considered young adult? I feel like a lot of the young adult books that I've read have been like high school based. Because I know that technically you're not an adult till you're 18, but which is technically the college years is where you're a young adult. But I also feel like sometimes the college books can get a little adulty, if that makes sense. So I almost feel like college is new adult, whereas the high school ones are young adult. I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, and of course I'm gonna read it, so if I end up correcting this idea later when I read it, then by all means. But I'm just reading it and I almost feel like it's going to be a little too dark. I don't know if it's a dark series, but like I'm almost getting that vibe from it between the cover and the synopsis. So the synopsis reads, Johnny Cavanaugh has everything going for him. On the rugby pitch, he is a force to be reckoned with, even plagued by a hidden injury. Everyone knows he's headed straight for the top, but that means there's no room for mistakes and distractions. Not even the shy new girl at Tom in college, the one with the sad eyes, the concealed bruises. He needs to stay focused, keep his cool, and not let anything get in the way of the bigger picture. Except before he knows it, this lonely girl has become his only picture. Life has never been easy for Shannon Lynch. Bullied and tortured, she arrived at Tom in college midway through the school year, praying for a fresh start and desperate to shake off the demons that plague her. But when she meets the notorious Johnny Kavanaugh on her first day, her plans to keep a low profile are at serious risk. As they fall into a complicated friendship and grapple with their undeniable chemistry, hidden pain and complicated secrets threaten to be their undoing. But Johnny won't give up on Shannon, no matter what it might cost them both. And so it's sounding like almost like Shannon's have had this very disturbing past. And I don't know if there are any trigger warnings. I haven't looked. Oh, that's cute. The dedication reads, I would like to dedicate Binding 13 to anyone who's ever had a dream they dared to chase with insatiable hunger and drive. The story is for you. Okay, she does put a little author's note in here that says, Binding 13 is the first installment of the Boys of Tommen series and the first book of Johnny and Shannon. Some scenes in this book may be upsetting, therefore reader discretion is advised. Because of its sexual content, violence, mature themes, triggers, bad language, it is suitable for readers 16 plus. It's probably why it's based for young adult. But it's like, if you've got like all of this late language and sexual content, it's like, is it really young adult or would it be considered like new adult? Because like, I know that teenagers will have sex and whatnot, but at the same time, it's like when you put it into like this kind of format, I don't know. There's just like when it's put into this format, it almost feels like it's for the older audiences. But we'll see when I read it. These are all like my initial thoughts of reading this. Like it sounds very interesting and I'm very excited to read it. But just the fact that she labels it as young adult 16 plus with all of these mature themes, I just question it is all. I may be totally wrong though. So just my initial opinions. It is based in the south of Ireland, set during the time frame of 2005, and contains Irish dialogue and slang. A detailed glossary can be found at the beginning of the book. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. And then it even comes with name pronunciations and a glossary, just because we do have Irish language in here. It's a 3-page long diary before we get into the first chapter. So, but I'm super excited for this. So, yay! The next one I picked up was an unplanned book. And because I've been seeing it, and I got the Barnes & Noble edition because I love the color scheme. And it is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. And so what's nice is that it's a play off of Charles Dickens' they say it, David Copperfield. They say it's a playoff of David Copperfield. It's like a modern take on David Copperfield. Now, they also said that you do not have to, it even says, I'll just read the synopsis because it's really good. And it was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I will attach a picture of the standard edition so you can see the difference. It's just a color swap, and they made it very colorful, which I absolutely loved. So, the synopsis reads, Demon Copperfield is a story of a boy born to a teenage single mother in a single wide trailer. With no assets beyond his dead father's good looks and copper-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival. In a plot that never pauses for breath, relayed in his own unsparing voice, Demon braves the modern perils of foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic succession, addiction, disastrous loves, and crushing losses. Though through it all, he reckons with his own invisibility in a popular culture where even the superheroes have abandoned rural people in favor of cities. Many generations ago, Charles Dickens wrote David Copperfield from his experience as a survival of institutional poverty and its damages to children in his society. These problems have yet to be solved in ours. Dickens is not a prerequisite for readers of this novel, but he provides its inspiration. In transposing his epic novel to her own place and time, King Solver has enlisted his anger and compassion, and above all, his faith in the transformative powers of a good story. Demon Copperhead speaks for a new generation of lost boys, and those born into beautiful, cursed places that they can't imagine leaving behind. And the Los Angeles Times calls this King Solver's bravest, most ambitious creation yet. And then Beth McKay, author of Dope Stick, says Demon is a voice for all ages, akin to Huck Finn or Holden Caulfield, only even more resilient. And I'm very interested in it. And because like I said, I've yet to read I never read David Copperfield, but it sounds fantastic. Oh, there's a line from Charles Dickens' David Copperfield in here that says, "It's in vain to recall the past unless it works some influences upon the present." And what's really cool is that it's got I don't know what the edges are called, but to where they look a little older and they're all like in different lengths and stuff. And so that it looks very interesting, and I've been seeing this ever since it was released, and the fact that I've been hearing about it because of the Pulitzer Prize and the fact that it's based off of David Copperfield, but for modern times, and I'm just like, you know what? Let me pick it up. It's also the winner of the UK Women's Prize for Fiction, as well as a Best Book of the Year according to the New York Times, the Washington Post, Financial Times, Real Simple, and NPR. So this sounds very interesting, and I'm super excited to finally have this. The last book that I picked up was a planned book. I was looking for this one. The only reason that I hadn't picked it up sooner is because this is one where I've been seeing it on online because it was a Fairy Loot Box book for the month of, I don't remember. It was one of the most previous months. I think it was maybe April or May. So I don't think it was the June box. I think it was April and May. But now I know this because I don't get Fairy Loot, but I watch people who do and do unboxings and stuff. So I've seen this book come up, and it was originally an unboxing of it that had gotten me onto the book. But of course, we have a different cover. And in all honesty, I prefer the UK cover. But of course, the idea of getting my hands on a UK cover version of the book, I feel is going to be too complicated, too time consuming, too money consuming to get it shipped all the way from Waterstones to me being in the US. But I figured, you know what? I'm very interested in the book, and I mean the US cover isn't terrible, but at the same time, again, I prefer the UK cover, but at the same time, I'm still very much excited for the book. And that is The God and the Gomiho by Sophie Kim. And so what I'm liking about this is the mix of fantasy and cozy, and it's almost like a mix of epic fantasy, but also coziness to it. And so it's just, this piqued my interest the minute I heard about it, and I'm like, let me just get my hands on it. So this is The God and the Gomiho, and on the back it says, Kim Hani has retired from a life of devouring souls. She is, simply put, too full. Once known as the infamous Scarlet Fox, she now spends her days working incognito in a coffee shop and annoying a particularly irritating, if unfairly handsome, trickster god as often as she can. That god is Sioka the Fallen. Exiled from the heavenly kingdom of Okwang, he now begrudgingly resides in the mortal realm, working towards his redemption and suffering through his interactions with the particularly infuriating, if sneakily charming, Gomiho barista at his favorite cafe. But when a powerful demon escapes from the underworld and threatens to end all of humanity, Okwang's emperor offers Seoga an enticing bargain. Kill the rogue creature as well as the legendary and elusive Scarlet Fox, and he will be reinstated as a god. Hani, however, has no intention of being caught. Seoga must be a trickster god, but she has a trick of her own that he'll never see coming, teaming up. As Seoga's assistant, Hani will undermine and sabotage his investigation right under his overly pointy nose. Sure, she'll help him kill the demon, but she certainly won't allow him to uncover her secret identity while they're at it. As the bickering partners track their case down a path of mayhem and violence, the god and the Gomio find themselves inescapably drawn to each other. But will the unlikely couple stand together to prevent the apocalypse, or will they let their secrets tear them and the world apart? I'm like, I love the sound of that. And I feel like this is going to be an absolute joy to read, and I'm super, super excited about it. So, that is book number 5, and the last one that I physically picked up. Now, the last one, it was released today, but it had not quite made it to shelves yet, and I had gone. So I put it up for that. One of the copies, when it comes in, one of the copies will be reserved for me. And that is Phantasma by Kylie Smith. This is one, I'll put the cover up here because honestly, just look at this cover, guys. It's stunning. I absolutely love the cover. Absolutely stunning. I want it purely for its cover, but it's also a dark fantasy romance. Guys, like, lovely. It says, the synopsis reads, Caraval meets Throne of the Fallen in the spicy dark romantasy where the necromancer needs help from a dangerous phantom to win a deadly competition, only to find their partnership puts her at risk of breaking the game's most vital rule, don't fall in love. When Ophelia and her sister discovers their mother brutally murdered, there is no time to grieve. Ophelia has inherited both her powerful death-driven magic and enormous debt on their home. Circumstances go from dire to deadly, however, when Ophelia's sister decides to pay off the loan by entering Phantasma, a competition where most contestants don't make it out alive, and the winner is granted a single wish. The only way to save her sister is to compete, but Phantasma is a cursed manor with twisting corridors and lavish ballrooms, and filled with enticing demons and fatal temptations. When charming, arrogant stranger claims he can protect and guide Ophelia, she knows she shouldn't trust him. While Blackwell may seem dangerous, appearances can be deceptive. But with her sister's life on the line, Ophelia can't afford to turn him away. She just needs to ignore the overwhelming dark attraction, drawing them closer and closer together, because in Phantasma, the only thing deadlier than losing the game is losing your heart. Oh my God. Now, I loved Caraval. I'll tell you right now. I loved Caraval. I read the entire series. I loved it. I think I rated Caraval like a 4-star series, 3.5, 4-star series. But in all honesty, I loved it. For me, I didn't like it the longer it went on. But the first novel was fantastic. I absolutely loved it. And so now, I put it, like I said, it releases today. But I'll get an email when it officially comes in. And I'll go pick it up whenever I get it. But I did put that on hold for me. And so this one was the initial reason I had gone out today. But I am happy to have 5 more books to my collection. Do I regret going book shopping? No. Do I regret coming home with so many books? Maybe. But am I gonna at least know I'll read them? For sure. And I think just because of the fall time, and because it's like some of these I do want to put on my TBR, and I do know that I want to get to the God and the Gomiho, and Wayward, because with the witchcrafty fantasy vibes, it makes me want to put them on my current TBR. And then I think the others I may wait on. I know I want to get to Binding 13 and Icebreaker. These two I think are my most exciting pickups. And so they're all gonna go on my shelf. I've got a small stack of my September books here, and so I may add Wayward and God and the Gumiho onto the stack and read these as some fall books. And you know what, if I don't get to them this month, I will save them for October, and we'll see where it takes us. So now I'm gonna put those on my shelf, and we are gonna continue reading Dragonfall. Like I said, the last time, I haven't picked it up since I updated you last from the card, just because I went in, got the books, came home, and reviewed the books with you. So I'm gonna keep going on this, and I'm very, very excited. And then I think I'll read this for another 2 hours maybe, and then we'll get some lunch, and then maybe we'll go and move on to my boot and listen to some Harry Potter. So yeah, let's keep chugging along on our bookish day. Oh, I've been wanting to do one of these for a while, like just hang out with you guys and do everything book related. And I've thought about updating my reading journal. In all honesty, like, I haven't updated my book journal in months. The good news is at least my Goodreads is updated, so at least if I need to talk about stuff, I can do that. But I do want to just sit and read for a little bit. I'm gonna get these on shelves, and I will check back in with you guys later. Alrighty guys, thank you so much on joining me on my bookish day today. Today was so much fun. I got to finish my books and finish a book and take you along with me finishing my boots. That was so much fun to get to show you guys those. I'm so super excited to wear them and use them, and that's going to be a fun time. And of course, while I was doing that, you guys got to see me finish Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which of course, this is one of my all-time favorite series, and I'm so glad to get back into the universe and get back into these books. So after I finished that, you saw that I found A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I found the audiobook for this, and so I got started on it. So excited to read this as I continue my reading through some lit fic, and I'm excited to see what all this has in store. And then I got a pretty good chunk through Dragonfall. I got to page 243. It's the start of part 4, Conviction. and I believe it's like 90-ish pages. And like literally today, I think I read like all of this. I mean, in all honesty, that's a pretty good chunk for me. So that was exciting. I'm gonna read a little more tonight. I doubt I'm gonna finish tonight, but I wanted to close out the video here because we're wrapping up the day. And just thank you guys so much for joining me today. I had so much fun taking you guys along with me and having a very bookish day. I made some fantastic progress on my books, and I was so excited to have you along with me. So thank you again for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Whatever time you're having, hope it's a good one. And drink your water and be kind to yourself. Love you guys. See you on the next video. Bye.